The Henderson family consisted of 4 unique individuals, each bringing their own qualities to the table. David, a software engineer in his early 40s, had always been the practical one, often approaching challenges with a logical mindset. Emily, his wife, was an elementary school teacher known for her warm, nurturing personality. She was the emotional anchor of the family, offering comfort and support when needed. Olivia, their 17-year-old daughter, was a dedicated high school student who rarely ventured far from her books. She possessed a quiet intelligence and an inquisitive nature, with a particular fascination for the supernatural and the unexplained. Daniel, the younger of the 2 teenage siblings at 15 years old, was the family's adventurer. With a love for outdoor activities and sports, he was always seeking the next thrill. Despite his rough-and-tumble exterior, he shared a special bond with his little sister, Sarah. And then there was Sarah, the vivacious 10-year-old who radiated youthful curiosity. Her wide eyes and boundless energy made her the family's sunshine. The Henderson family had been searching for the perfect home for years, and they thought they had finally found it when they stumbled upon the old Victorian house, nestled at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac. The house was a charming blend of history and elegance, its white wooden exterior adorned with intricate gingerbread trim. It was a place where they hoped to build a lifetime of memories. As they settled into their new home, they were enthralled by its history. The house had been built in the late 1800s and had served as a gathering place for the town's elite. But one detail, hidden beneath the layers of time, had eluded them. A detail that would change their lives forever. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon when Sarah, the youngest of the Hendersons, was playing in the basement. The basement was a labyrinthine space, divided into storage rooms and old dusty corners that had not seen the light of day in decades. Sarah had always been curious, and her curiosity led her to a dusty corner obscured by an old bookshelf. There she noticed an unusual patch of wallpaper. It was slightly discolored and peeling at the edges. She tugged at it, and as the wallpaper fell away, it revealed a small concealed door. Sarah's heart raced as she called for her parents, and they gathered around in astonishment. With trembling hands, David, Sarah's father, reached for the tarnished doorknob. He turned it slowly, and the door creaked open, revealing a narrow stone staircase that descended into darkness. The family exchanged nervous glances, but their curiosity got the better of them. They descended the stairs, guided only by a flickering flashlight. The air grew colder, and an eerie silence settled around them. As they reached the bottom, their flashlights illuminated a horrifying sight. A chamber filled with sinister symbols etched onto the stone walls, an altar stained with dried blood, and a chilling air that seemed to hum with malevolence. In the center of the chamber, a grotesque statue stood, depicting a monstrous figure with tentacles and an all-seeing eye. It was a shrine to something otherworldly and maleficent. It was clear that this basement had been a place where a sinister cult had conducted their rituals, invoking dark forces beyond comprehension. Fear gnawed at their hearts as they realized the gravity of their discovery. They were not alone in the basement. The shadows seemed to dance and twist, and the temperature dropped even further. Whispers, faint but menacing, filled the air. They hurriedly ascended the stairs, leaving the door wide open behind them, and barricaded the entrance to the basement. But the malevolence they had awakened did not stay confined to the chamber. In the following days, the Hendersons' once idyllic life began to unravel. Nightmares plagued their sleep, and they heard strange, guttural voices in the dead of night. Objects moved on their own, and a sinister presence seemed to envelop their home. Desperate and terrified, they sought the help of a local historian, who revealed the chilling history of the cult that had once thrived beneath their home. They learned that the cult had vanished mysteriously, leaving only their dark legacy behind. The Hendersons faced a daunting choice: flee their beloved home or confront the malevolent entity that had been unleashed. As they gathered the strength to confront the horrors lurking in their basement, they knew that the battle against the sinister cult in the basement would test their family bonds and their very souls. In the shadows of their once charming home, the cult's dark secrets awaited them, and the Hendersons were about to discover that some horrors were not meant to remain buried in the past. The Hendersons couldn't escape the palpable dread that now hung over their once joyful household. The nights became a torment of restless sleep, filled with nightmarish visions of shadowy figures and ominous chants. Emily, the family's emotional core, began to see the toll it was taking on her children. Olivia's fascination with the supernatural gave way to fear, while Sarah clung tightly to her older brother and sister during the ever-lengthening nights. One evening, as they gathered around the dining table, their unease finally pushed them to make a decision. David and Emily exchanged solemn glances, their love for their children undying. They knew they had to confront the sinister forces lurking in their home, for the sake of their family's sanity and safety. They called upon the local historian, Dr. Evelyn Reynolds, a woman known for her expertise in the occult and paranormal. With a heavy sense of foreboding, they welcomed her into their home, sharing their harrowing experiences and revealing the secrets of the basement chamber. Dr. Reynolds listened intently, her eyes narrowing with concern. After a thorough investigation and consultation with ancient texts, Dr. Reynolds confirmed their worst fears. The basement chamber was indeed a place where a malevolent cult had once summoned dark forces. The cult's abrupt disappearance had left the evil entity they had invoked unchecked, and it was now tethered to the house itself. Dr. Reynolds explained that the only way to banish the malevolence was to perform a complex ritual, one that required courage, unity, and a profound belief in the power of love. It was a daunting task, but the Hendersons were determined to free their home from the grip of darkness. Over the next few days, the Hendersons, guided by Dr. Reynolds, slowly prepared for the ritual. They gathered the required materials, studied the ancient texts, and strengthened their family bonds. Together, they forged a plan to confront the malevolent entity that had tormented them. On the designated night, they descended once more into the basement chamber, armed with knowledge, determination, and the strength of their family unity. The air was thick with tension, and the shadows writhed as they began the ritual. As they chanted ancient incantations and invoked the power of love, the chamber seemed to quake with fury. The entity fought back with all its might, but the Hendersons' unbreakable bond proved stronger. Light began to pierce the darkness, and the grotesque statue that had once dominated the chamber shattered into 1,000 pieces. With a final burst of energy, they sealed the entity away, banishing it from their home forever. The temperature returned to normal, and the whispers ceased. The Hendersons had prevailed. Though their house was forever marked by the horrors of the past, the Hendersons had learned that love, courage, and unity could conquer even the darkest of forces. As they emerged from the basement, their hearts were heavy with the weight of what they had endured, but their family had emerged stronger than ever. Their new home held the scars of a sinister cult's presence, but it also bore witness to the indomitable spirit of the Hendersons, a family that refused to be torn apart by the malevolent forces that had sought to consume them.